All right, so last time we were talking about Rebbe, the compiler of the Mishnah. You remember, the guy who had a secret tunnel leading straight to the Roman emperor. Well, today we're hearing from his son, the man who inherited all that power and influence. And what's his number one piece of advice? Be cautious of the government. How does that even work? That's the incredible paradox we're diving into right now.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Your father is the closest Jewish ally to the most powerful man on earth. And your central public teaching is a stark warning about the very institution he navigated so masterfully. This isn't some abstract theory, right? This is a message forged right in the heart of power.
So who is this guy? Meet Rabban Gamliel III. And the Mishnah is really specific. It calls him Rabban Gamliel, son of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. Why? It's a huge hint. It's telling us his teaching is the sequel to his father's. His dad, Rebbe, taught us how to perfect our inner selves. Now, the son is here to teach us how to take that perfected self out into the messy, complicated, and, kind of dangerous real world. As the Nasi, the leader of the Jewish people, when this man spoke, everybody listened. So let's do the same.
Okay, so Rabban Gamliel starts with the positive half of his strategy, how to actually build a complete life. Here's the full text, Mishnah 2:2. He says, "Beautiful is the study of Torah with a worldly occupation, for the exertion of both causes sin to be forgotten. And all Torah that is not accompanied by work will in the end be nullified and drag in sin. And all who toil for the community, let them do so for the sake of heaven, for the merit of their forefathers assists them, and their righteousness endures forever. And as for you, I credit you with great reward, as if you had done it alone."
And then, right on the heels of that, comes the stark warning. This is the guardrail for all that worldly engagement. Mishnah 2:3. Be cautious of the government, for they only draw a person close for their own needs. They appear as friends when it benefits them, but they do not stand by a person in his time of difficulty. Now, these two teachings might seem like they're coming from totally different places, but they're not. They're two sides of the same coin, a complete game plan for a meaningful life.
All right, let's break this down. Let's start with that first teaching, which is all about building your internal foundation. This is the work you have to do on yourself before you can step out and effectively and safely engage with the rest of the world.
So he uses this phrase, Torah with a worldly occupation. In Hebrew, that's Torah im derech eretz. You've probably heard that phrase 1,000 times. But what does it really mean? Because let me tell you, it is so much richer and more complex than you might think.
So on the most basic level, the Bartanura says it means having a job, earning a living. Simple enough. But other commentators go way deeper. Rabbeinu Yosef ben Shushan says it's about basic human decency, just being a mensch. The Divrei Bina offers a beautiful Hasidic view that your Torah learning should shine through in everything you do. And then there's Rabbi Samson Raphael Hirsch, who built a whole philosophy on this idea, full unapologetic engagement with the modern world as a religious duty. So we're talking about way more than just a paycheck. This is a blueprint for an integrated life.
So what about that line, for the exertion of both causes sin to be forgotten? Well, the simple explanation is that you're just too wiped out to get into trouble. You're working hard at your job, you're coming home to study Torah, your body is crushed, your mind is tired. There's literally no energy left for sin. It's a very practical, straightforward idea. But there's a much deeper layer here. And this is where the Maharal of Prague comes in, with an absolutely profound insight. He asks, wait a minute, if it's just about being tired, why not just work harder at one thing? The point, he explains, isn't fatigue, it's completeness. We have a spiritual side, which is perfected by Torah, and we have a physical side, perfected by our work in the world. Sin, according to the Maharal, is a symptom of incompleteness. When you're actively building both parts of yourself, you create a wholeness where sin just can't find a foothold.
And the Maharal has this brilliant proof. He notes that whenever the Torah says someone sat down or settled, the word is vayeshev, disaster is right around the corner. Jacob settled and his sons sold Joseph. The people sat and sinned. Complacency, stillness, the feeling of I've arrived, that is the real danger. A life of striving in both the spiritual and physical realms keeps you moving, growing, and spiritually safe. Then the Mishnah gives us this stark warning about what happens when that balance is lost. It says all Torah that is not accompanied by work will in the end be nullified and drag in sin. And notice the switch here from the broad concept of derech eretz to the very concrete word melacha, a job. The message is clear. An ungrounded spiritual life is completely unsustainable.
Rabbeinu Yonah maps out this terrifying downward spiral. It starts with noble idealism but no income. That leads to poverty. To survive, you start accepting gifts, which makes you beholden to people, often not the best people. Soon you're flattering them to keep the support coming, and from there, your moral compass just shatters, leading to theft and worse. It's a chilling reminder that spirituality needs a material foundation.
So the Mishnah then pivots from our personal lives to our public roles. Having established the need for this inner balance, Rabban Gamliel turns to those who serve the community. The huge question is, how do you engage in public life without being corrupted by it? And here is the great paradox of public service. The Mishnah tells the community leader a very humbling truth. Any success you have isn't really because of you. It's because of the collective spiritual merit of the community's ancestors. It's a massive ego check. But then comes the consolation. If you act with pure intentions for the sake of heaven, God rewards you as if you did it all by yourself. Okay, so you've built a complete inner self through Torah and work, and you're serving the community with pure motives. Now what? Now, how do you protect yourself from the dangers of the outside world? That brings us to the second part of Rabban Gamliel's teaching.
Again, just let the context of this sink in. This isn't an outsider throwing stones at the establishment. This is the ultimate insider, a man who saw the inner workings of power up close, and his sober assessment is, be careful. This warning comes from lived, high-stakes experience.
Now, earlier in Pirkei Avos, the sage Shemaiah gave a blanket warning, just stay away from government. But Rabban Gamliel offers a more nuanced take. He understands that leadership requires engagement with the authorities. His message isn't stay away, it's engage, but be smart about it. Be wary. Never mistake their friendship for true friendship.
And here's a fascinating, kind of funny historical footnote. Great commentators throughout the ages, like the Rambam and Rabbeinu Yonah, would often write that, of course, this warning applied to the corrupt Roman government of the past, but not their own enlightened administration. It's a timeless human tendency to think, oh, things are different now. But as history shows, the nature of institutional power rarely changes. And now for a mind-bending insight from the Sfas Amos. He points out that the key Hebrew word here, rashut, has a dual meaning. Yes, it means the governing authority, but it also means that which is permitted, the optional things in life, the gray zone.
So reread the Mishnah with this second meaning. Be cautious with permitted things. Whoa! Suddenly the warning becomes deeply personal. Those optional pleasures, those endless distractions, they appear as friends when it benefits them. They feel good in the moment, but they do not stand by you in your time of difficulty. When you face a real spiritual crisis, that Netflix binge or social media scroll offers zero support. This reveals that the Mishnah is warning us about two kinds of false friends, external governments and internal indulgences.
So let's put it all together. These aren't two separate teachings. They are one cohesive strategy for living a life of purpose and integrity in a really complicated world.
Here's the plan. Step 1, engage. Build yourself into a whole person through the sacred combination of Torah and work. Serve your community, but do it for the right reasons. Step 2, guard. As you engage, maintain a healthy caution. Understand that institutions, and even your own optional pleasures, operate on self-interest. They are not your friends.
So what does this mean for us right now? First, earning a livelihood isn't just about money. It's a spiritual act of making yourself whole. Second, if you're involved in community work, remember you're a channel, not the source. Third, be realistic about institutions, corporations, governments, platforms. Engage with them, but place your real trust in people. And finally, pay close attention to the gray zone in your life. The harmless distractions are often the most dangerous.
Rabban Gamliel has given us a masterclass in how to live and guard ourselves in the world. But what happens when that life ends? What are the ultimate consequences of our actions? For that, the Mishnah brings back one of its most famous voices, Hillel, who delivers one of the most haunting lines in all of Jewish literature upon seeing a skull floating on the water. And we'll unpack that next time.